Jeremiah,
Yeah.
I need some advice.
Shoot.
I need to work on this.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say you do.
Just wanted a little more.
A little more, what?
A little more Josh.
I know a guy. I'm fitness expert Jeremiah Kruger.
And I'm a guy who works here, Rock.
If you blacked out in that first clip like I did, today we're talking about butts.
My favorite subject.
Your butt contains a lot of large muscles, but we're really focused on the side butt today from a functional standpoint. From that functional standpoint, the main thing that your side hip or side butt does is external rotation of the hip. If you look at it with a straight leg, that would be turning your foot outward. If you bend your knee, that would be bringing your leg inward. In this video, I'm going to show you 4 exercises that are going to help strengthen your outer butt to help you with the action of external rotation in a multitude of exercises. And then we're going to end it with 2 mistakes that people commonly make when they're trying to correct these imbalances or weaknesses in their outer hips. So, we don't want a strong butt just because it looks good.
I do. Arm day.
Having a strong butt can help you move better. For example, here's a back squat. It plays a very big role in how well you squat.
How's my camera angle?
Your butt's in frame.
Good.
Back pain is one of the most common injuries and issues that people have to deal with. And having a strong butt can help prevent and or fix the issue.
Oops. Oh, sorry.
All right, without further ado, let's get into the exercises. Rock, do you want a demo?
Sorry, did you say something?
We'll see how this goes. All right, I'm actually going to need you to turn around.
My butt's not going to be in frame.
Deal with it. All right, here we have exercise number 1, the lateral step down. This is a pretty all-encompassing exercise with how much value it brings you. One of the big things being the instability that it's training. One of the main jobs for your outer butt, your external rotation at your hip, is stabilization of the hip joint. So this is an unstable exercise requiring you to stabilize more. Some of the key things to focus on here is the relationship between your knee and your big toe. If Rock is looking straight down, he wants to see his big toe inside of his knee. When your outer hip is not doing its job in pulling your hip into external rotation, it tends to track inward, and if he's looking straight down, it might cover up his big toe. That is not ideal if you want to do this exercise correctly. If you want to progress this exercise, you might hold weights, or if you want a really big challenge, you might scale up the height of the box that you're stepping down from. That is a very big challenge though. It requires a lot more stability and ankle flexibility. For an exercise like this, I might do 10 to 15 reps, although if I'm Rock, I might do like 45 if you really want to grow those glutes. Okay, for this one you can turn around.
Yes!
All right, so exercise number 2 is a sumo deadlift. I want Rock to hinge here a little bit more than you might on, per se, a squat. You'll notice that his feet are elevated just because Rock has a good range of motion in those glutes, so I want him to stretch those muscles a little bit more, have them strong through a full range of motion. The reason this exercise works well is because the angle of the foot matching the knee causes your hip to be in external rotation. And for an exercise like this, typically we can move some heavier weight, which helps you overload those muscles and make them a little bit stronger. There are a few ways you could progress it height-wise, although I would be cautious as it is a hinge, you don't want to stress it too much. I might just have Rock grab a heavier weight and or do a few more reps. If the outer butt is the focus, you're going to want anywhere between 10 to 15 reps so you can really practice engaging that muscle. All right, exercise number 3 here is the partner crossover. This is very similar to the cable crossover. So if you're the trainer in this scenario, your job is to place your hand on the hip opposite the long leg. Then I'm going to grab somewhere below the knee, and my goal is to bring my partner's leg down and across, and then have them resist slightly on the way back up. You're going to pull a little bit harder on the way down and be a little bit easier on the way up. We call this eccentric overload, where I want them to resist me as I work them hard down, and then make it easier to get back up. Work harder on the way down, easier to get back up. And again, this is a side butt or side glute exercise. An exercise like this, I might do 10 to 15 reps, depending on how well you and your partner work together. All right, I'm hesitant to say this, but just keep doing what you're doing while I'm talking. Exercise number 3 is the miniband side step. There's a better way to do this exercise than just stepping side to side, and that is adding a 90-degree turn at the hip. The main job of that outer butt is to externally rotate the hip. And what that looks like when you're in a bit of a squat is a 90-degree turn, or pulling your knees apart and turning 90 degrees as you do so. When you do a miniband side step, in a general sense, you're just stepping side to side and pulling your hips apart. And yes, those muscles are working, but you can do it a little bit better when you add in that 90-degree turn. So Rock is going to squat down and get a little bit of a bend in the hip and the knee. That is going to pre-stretch those side glutes. And then he's going to contract them by stepping apart and then resisting it slowly on the way back in. You could alternate side to side like he's doing right now, or if you want to do more reps on one side and then all the reps on the other side, you might notice if you do it that way that stabilizing leg, the one that's not actually moving, that one actually might feel the burn a little bit more. This is a great priming exercise to do before you do a big lift like a deadlift or a back squat, something like that. And again, if that's the case, the goal is not to absolutely fatigue the muscle, the goal is just to prime it and warm it up. Though, you could also use the same exercise as a burnout at the end of a workout just to finish out whatever energy you got left in the glutes. Here's one important exercise where you might see weak outer hips being an issue: a back squat or a squat of any kind. Oftentimes what this looks like is on the way back up from that squat, your knees start to buckle inward and are struggling to maintain that externally rotated position. And in worst cases, it happens on the way down as well. Here's how not to fix that. The old jam something between your legs trick to force your legs apart when you squat. Do not do this, because all this is doing is strengthening the muscles that are pulling my legs together, making them want to come together even more to hold the ball between my legs. If the issue is symmetrical and that both legs are having an equal issue shifting inward, a mini band outside the knees might be a good solution, where now I have to actively work hard to pull my legs apart, engage the outer hip as I drop deep into that squat. This brings me to mistake number 2. If one leg is working fine, that outer hip is pulling that knee into external rotation, but the other one is a little bit weak, sure, I might be strengthening both, but I'm strengthening the strong one to continually be stronger than the other side. I'm overcompensating with that strong side, and I'm just making the issue worse. If you want to correctly resolve the imbalance, let's say my left leg is not working right and my right leg is doing its job, I'm going to focus solely on that left leg. And what I want to do is track the resistance so that I have to resist the motion you do not want. I do not want that inward motion. I want outward, so I'm working myself harder in that outward motion. Right leg does not need any help here, so from here, I'm going to produce that same movement, focused on solely that left leg, shifting the direction that you want that knee to go. For a corrective exercise like this, 10 to 15 reps is great until you're able to practice the motion just using your own motor control without any extra cueing from the band having to be resisted. So somebody told Rock that his butt was too small and he got sad and had to go home. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I really hope this video was helpful. A reminder that the main job of that butt, that outer butt, is external rotation of the hip, and that serves a big purpose for a whole lot of movements in your body and a whole lot of injury protection. It serves a good purpose to be strong with that movement. Thank you guys and have a wonderful day.